traversed to another realm, dedicating a full 3,700 years to forge the celestial Song Empire, where he reigned supreme. Yet, as his lifespan drew to a close, he faced imminent demise. Ding. The Supreme Sign-In System is activated. At the outset, he achieved the cultivation of an emperor and gained millions of years of lifespan. Thus, he ascended the throne once more. Upon his rebirth, Li Tsong gazed down upon the empire he had meticulously constructed. However, he soon discovered that strife erupted everywhere, with vassal kings seizing power and hidden sects scheming in the shadows, intent on usurping control. Li Tsong declared, "Those who submit to me shall live, those who defy me shall perish, even if it means the fall of the heavens." Chapter 1. From Death to Life, starting with the pinnacle emperor's cultivation. On the Jiuxiao continent, within the celestial Tsong Empire, in the Lin Tian Imperial City. Father, what a remarkable sovereign he is. Yet he cannot escape the end of his lifespan. Within the opulent palace, the current 3 imperial sons and numerous noble officials knelt upon the ground, their expressions laden with gravity. Cough, cough. After 3,700 years is my fate destined to end here? On the dragon bed, an elderly man with graying hair slowly opened his eyes. His gaze was deep and murky, tinged with an indescribable sense of solitude and sorrow. His name was Li Tsong, that he was the supreme ruler of the celestial Tsong Empire and the architect of this flourishing nation. 3,700 years prior, he had crossed over from the Blue Star. From a wandering beggar, he unexpectedly gained fortuitous opportunities and embarked on the path of cultivation, dedicating his entire life, only to finally establish this grand empire. The path of an emperor is often paved with the bones of the fallen. Along the way, Li Tsong had long lost count of how many lives he had extinguished. His hands stained with endless blood, he was nonetheless regarded as a benevolent sovereign by millions of subjects, and a stern father in the eyes of his 3 offspring. It ends here. The myriad experiences of his past flickered before Li Tsong's eyes like a revolving lantern. He could no longer hear the sorrowful cries and reluctance of those around him. It was as if he had already sensed the call from the underworld, poised to depart from the realm of the living. Will the celestial Tsong Empire be able to endure in peace after my demise? Can my sons uphold all that I have built? If only I could have another 100 years. Just 100 years. His gaze gradually became clouded. Li Tsong was unwilling to embrace death. Yet as a revered cultivator, his lifespan could not exceed 5,000 years. Given the countless hidden injuries he had suffered in the past, surviving for over 3,700 years was already a miracle. I do not wish to die. With the last of his strength, he clenched his fists. Li Tsong could not bear to abandon the empire he had established. He still yearned to sit upon the throne. He wished to witness this nation continue to flourish and see his 3 sons become formidable figures renowned across the continent. Ding. The Supreme Sign-In System is activated. Sign-In location, Lin Tian Imperial City detected. Shall the host sign in immediately? As his consciousness teetered on the brink of darkness, a cold yet melodious voice suddenly resonated, causing Li Tsong's final flicker of awareness to tremble, yearning to respond. But at that moment, his waning was unable to muster even a slight reply. Fortunately, ding. Host's impending death detected. System defaults to sign in. Sign in successful. Congratulations to the host for acquiring Pinnacle Emperor Cultivation. Pinnacle Emperor? As Li Tsong's consciousness began to plunge into darkness, a surge of astonishment flickered across his mind, and then an unfathomable torrent of vitality erupted from his already depleted body, surging throughout him. In that instant, his consciousness snapped back to life. The unimaginable flow of life energy within him caused the cultivation bottleneck that had stymied him for a millennium to finally shatter with a resounding crash. He had finally broken through to the supreme realm, and this was merely the beginning. Boom! A terrifying wave of energy permeated the hall. Everyone present staggered back a few steps, gazing in astonishment at the extraordinary spectacle unfolding before them. How could the dying sovereign now exude such a terrifying aura? Supreme, above the revered, with a lifespan of 10,000 years. Within the ancient state domain where the celestial Tsong Empire resided, he was already among the most formidable beings, a true titan. Yet just 3 breaths later, Supreme 8 heavens, Supreme 9 heavens, and then he stepped into the holy realm, achieving the status of the Supreme Sage. Boom! A vast and overwhelming pressure instantly swept through every corner of the hall. In that moment, everyone present fell prostrate to the ground, too fearful to raise their heads. The might was simply too terrifying. Even though they were powerful in their own right, considered absolute masters within the celestial Song Empire, they could not withstand even a mere fragment of that aura's onslaught. Supreme and unmatched, invincible. A sage could obliterate mountains with a drop of blood, in the blink of an eye. They could annihilate the heavens and earth. This realm was entirely on a different level from the previous Supreme Realm. Though only a step apart, the distinction felt as vast as the chasm between heaven and earth. Only by entering the Holy Realm could one truly claim the title of strong across the Jiuxiao continent, reigning freely over the world. Father. He, the crown prince of the celestial Tsang, Li Shun, gazed in bewilderment. He was the firstborn son of Li Tsang after he ascended the throne, gifted with exceptional intelligence and talent, hailed as a peerless prodigy not seen in the ancient state domain for 100,000 years. Yet now that he was utterly stunned by the scene before him, Father has been reborn from death, achieving sagehood. The second son, Li Qian, reacted even more strongly. He was a talented alchemist, having reached the level of an 8th-rank alchemist in just a few decades. Secretly, he had taken an unnamed old man in a black robe as his master, following his guidance. He had concocted a special elixir for Li Tsang, extending his life by a century. Heaven bless our father. Heaven bless the empire. Within the hall, the crowd bowed deeply. Behind them, the third son, Li Yin, was filled with tears, his emotions surging. Among the 3 brothers, he possessed the weakest talent and mediocre cultivation. Yet despite this, his father had always treated him equally, without a trace of bias. The notion of a heartless imperial family was non-existent within the celestial Tsang Empire. Now, witnessing his father Li Tsang's miraculous rebirth, how could Li Yin not be exhilarated? As for those who had served Li Tsang for hundreds of years, the guards and palace maids, they all knelt down, tears streaming. Long live our emperor. May he eternally bless the celestial Tsang Empire. Boom! In the next moment, under the astonished gazes of all, his aura surged once more. Ancient sage, holy king, quasi-emperor, even to the point of that realm which borders on the legendary, standing at the very pinnacle of the entire 9 heavens continent. The emperor. Boom! The majesty of the emperor pervades the air, and the heavens shift in hue. A tempest sweeps through. Amidst the formerly tranquil skies, several dragon-shaped phantoms emerge, seemingly symbolizing the dragon vein of this imperial dynasty. At this moment, the weight of destiny reaches its zenith. Crack! Li Tsang shatters the dome of the hall, stepping upon the azure skies. The emperor, possessing countless years of lifespan, wielding the laws of the great Tao, reigning supreme over all existence. Such a formidable being. With a mere utterance, they can obliterate vast territories spanning thousands of miles, extinguishing billions of lives, leaving no trace of their remains. Even the stars in the void beyond, despite the infinite distances that separate them, they can effortlessly seize and annihilate them, or even refine them. This is the true pinnacle of power within the 9 heavens continent. It embodies supremacy and signifies the ultimate destination of the cultivation journey. And at this moment, Li Tsang, having nearly experienced a death and rebirth, without a doubt, has stepped into that realm of supremacy. Moreover, he stands at the absolute apex among emperors, surpassing all who have attained the title throughout history. Ha! Ha ha! Li Tsang spreads his arms wide, laughing uproariously towards the heavens. The dragon phantoms in the skies likewise surge in tandem with his exuberance, as if celebrating his rebirth. The celestial Tsang dynasty, your emperor, has returned. Chapter 2. The Imperial Assembly, the Fearful Ministers. Overlooking the magnificent imperial city below, Li Tsang's eyes shimmered with unparalleled brilliance, his voice resonating like thunder, reverberating across the universe. After achieving the status of the great emperor, he no longer bore the frailty of age. His countenance was resolute, emanating an aura of authority. Clad in a black and gold dragon robe, surrounded by an ethereal glow, he appeared as a celestial sovereign descended from the heavens. "Your Majesty, we pay our respects." In an instant, the entire imperial palace erupted with fervor, hundreds of thousands, even millions of officials and guards prostrating themselves on the ground, reverently bowing to the towering figure that stood against the sky. "Rise." His voice, imbued with a detached yet seasoned gravitas, carried a hint of weariness. Li Tsong slowly descended, returning to his chamber, where he beheld the tear-filled faces of Li Shun and his brothers, a fleeting expression of guilt crossing his visage. "Shunner, Chinner, Yinner, over these years, I have caused you much worry." For nearly a century, in pursuit of extending his lifespan, the Tiansong imperial lineage had nearly exhausted all its wealth and treasures. His 3 sons had tirelessly sought rare and precious elixirs for his consumption. Had it not been for this, Li Yin, Li Qian, and Li Shun would not have appeared so gaunt and haggard. Particularly his eldest son, Li Shun, who forsook the opportunity to enter the sacred land of Zhenwu, dedicating himself to safeguarding the empire for decades against all manner of ambitious schemers. Father, Li Yin, Li Qian, and Li Shun knelt in unison. The overwhelming joy of this near-miraculous revival stirred their spirits, rendering them unable to contain their emotions. "Rise. From this day forth, I shall protect you all, sparing you any further worries." With a gentle sigh, Li Tsong extended his hand, personally aiding each of them to their feet. As an emperor, he had taken but one consort, the sole empress who had accompanied him through life's journey, from nothing to greatness. The 3 sons she bore were now the most cherished treasures of Li Tsong. He could not bear for them to suffer even the slightest harm. Opening his arms, he embraced them tightly. In his heart, he vowed that now, having attained the pinnacle of imperial power, he possessed the strength to safeguard and even transform everything. Amidst tears, Li Shun and his brothers were rendered speechless. After a prolonged moment, Li Tsong patted their shoulders and slowly rose. He then turned to an elder in the hall and spoke. "Montang, prepare to summon the ministers. In 3 hours, I shall personally attend the court." "Yes, Montang." The chancellor of the Tiansong Empire, and the one who had accompanied Li Tsong the longest, trembled slightly, a glimmer of excitement flickering in his eyes. "The emperor has returned. With an unprecedented might. Those restless elements within the court shall meet their reckoning." Contemplating this, Montang's heart surged with exhilaration, feeling as if the once tyrannical emperor had indeed returned, now more unfathomable than ever. 3 hours swiftly passed, within the golden hall of the imperial palace. The very symbol of the supreme authority of the Tiansong Empire, the ministers buzzed with speculation. Has the emperor truly transcended to the supreme realm? Returning from the brink of death? Decades had passed since the emperor last graced the court. Surely, a grand purge was imminent. The emperor has returned. Within the hall, numerous civil and military officials engaged in fervent discussions. Some displayed excitement, while others appeared visibly terrified, beads of cold sweat glistening on their foreheads. All knew too well what the return of the Tiansong emperor signified. He was the founding monarch who had risen from nothing to establish this realm. His iron-fisted methods were etched into the memories of many. After a millennium, he had dismantled the previous kingdom of Longwu, declaring himself the Tiansong emperor, establishing the Tiansong nation with the support of 30 million troops. For 2 millennia, he obliterated all remnants of the Longwu monarchy and annexed the Tianhai dynasty, transforming the Tiansong nation into the Tiansong Empire, becoming one of the largest nations in the ancient regions. At this moment, the reputation of the Tiansong emperor resonated throughout the realms, echoing far and wide. Yet, this was merely the beginning. 8 centuries ago, the malevolent forces of the Shonyue cult besieged the realm. The Tiansong emperor single-handedly confronted 6 demonic lords, even facing a demonic sovereign. Ultimately, he eradicated all demon cultivators, transcending class to slay the demonic sovereign. This battle shook the world, solidifying the emperor's illustrious reputation, which reached the ears of various realms. Now, witnessing the once invincible and domineering Tiansong emperor break through his limits, no longer confined by mere mortal lifespan, many schemers lurked in the shadows, consumed by trepidation. With a resounding creak, the hall doors swung open. Li Tsong strode in with his hands clasped behind his back. Instantly, the clamor ceased, and hundreds of eyes converged upon him. "Your Majesty, congratulations on your breakthrough in cultivation, Your Majesty. Your might is unmatched. May you dominate the 9 heavens." Having confirmed that the once dying Tiansong emperor now radiated vitality, the ministers promptly bowed in unison, exclaiming their accolades. Li Tsong's gaze was profound as he surveyed the assembly, gradually taking his seat upon the imperial throne. Beside him stood Crown Prince Li Shun and his 2 brothers, along with Chancellor Montang, all gazing down upon the court. "My beloved ministers, there is no need for formalities. observing the hundreds of officials kneeling at his feet.
Li Tsong's expression remained composed. I have been in seclusion for a century, and it has been a long time since I last attended court. Today,
I have summoned you all to gain a comprehensive understanding of the current state of the Tian Empire. His gaze swept across the hall before finally resting upon a middle-aged man clad in armor, exuding a robust aura, General Zhang Che, the protector of the Tian Empire. He commanded 12 legions, having fought alongside Li Tsong on the battlefield, rescuing him from perilous situations multiple times. He was truly Li Tsong's most trusted confidant. Zhang Che, has there been any unrest from the Burning Flame Empire? His calm voice echoed within the hall, carrying an inexplicable chill that weighed heavily upon the hearts of the ministers. The Tian Empire had been established for merely over 2 millennia, yet its territory had expanded manifold. In the ancient regions, it posed a significant threat to other imperial nations, frequently resulting in border conflicts. The Burning Flame Empire was one such adversary, an age-old rival that launched incursions every 20 or 50 years. However, each time, they returned defeated. Your Majesty, during your seclusion, the Burning Flame Empire has not invaded our borders. However, they have been secretly disseminating rumors of your impending demise, attempting to win over local lords and ministers. Undeterred by the stern gazes of many, Zhang Che candidly recounted the intelligence he had gathered. The Burning Flame Empire harbors ambitious designs. They clearly intend to launch an assault on the entire empire following your fall, employing external forces to fully annex the Tian Empire. Oh, Li Tsong atop the throne smiled indifferently, resting his chin on his hand, his gaze leisurely descending upon those below. The Empire of Burning Flames harbors treacherous ambitions. My esteemed ministers would not be so foolish as to fall prey to their insidious machinations, would they? The voice, though indifferent, resonated with immense authority, like that of a deity rendering judgment. We would never dare deceive your Majesty. Upon hearing this, the ministers felt a sudden chill in their hearts and hastily prostrated themselves upon the ground. Among them, those with ties to the Empire of Burning Flames turned ashen. For this sovereign was renowned for his iron-fisted rule. Should their misdeeds come to light, not only would they face dire consequences, but even their entire lineage would be inescapably doomed. Father, at this moment, the Crown Prince Li Shun slightly bowed and whispered words into Li Tsong's ear, causing the latter's smile to deepen, though it hinted at an ominous foreboding. Chapter 3. The Traitor. Is the Blood Gun King present today? A brief silence ensued. Li Tsong's eyes flickered before he slowly spoke. Blood Gun King? The mere mention of the name startled everyone present. He was indeed one of the most formidable nobles of the Tian Empire, a renowned general who had fought valiantly for centuries, amassing unparalleled achievements for the empire. Thus, he was personally bestowed the title of Blood Gun King by the sovereign, entrusted with the governance of the 3 major regions, North Mountain County, Qinglong County, and Shiyan County. Behind the ministers, a figure clad in crimson, with an unruly demeanor, coldly smiled, his lips curling into a sardonic arc. It was none other than the current mightiest noble of the Tian Empire, the Blood Gun King, Yin Wushang. The blood gun is here. May I inquire what commands your Majesty has? Yin Wushang entered the hall and half knelt, offering a slow salute to Li Tsong, who sat imperiously on the throne. However, the glimmer in his eyes revealed an absence of the previous reverence and fervor, now tinged with a subtle disdain. Even though the sovereign had once been invincible, he was now merely an old dog nearing his end. Yin Wushang had conducted a thorough investigation into Li Tsong's physical condition. In no more than 3 years, at most 6 months, this once mighty emperor would meet his demise. His presence in court today was likely a mere pretense, a fleeting moment borrowed to clear the path for the future emperor, Li Shun. Wushang, I have witnessed you rise from an ordinary soldier in the vanguard to your current esteemed status as the Blood Gun King. Li Tsong regarded Yin Wushang from his lofty seat, a complex emotion flickering in his eyes. Yet today, I find myself greatly disappointed in you. A tremor coursed through Yin Wushang's heart, though he maintained his composure, merely clasping his hands in a smile. Your Majesty, might I ask what I have done to incur your disappointment? Sighing, Li Tsong responded, In the past, I promised you that as long as you remained loyal to me, all that you desired in the future would be within your grasp. Even the title of saint would not be beyond your reach. Yet here you stand, so impatient, merely awaiting my demise, betraying the empire I have built. Silence fell like a shroud over the hall, the sound of cold sweat dripping onto the floor resounding with eerie clarity. The ministers exchanged glances, shocked by the unexpected confrontation on the very first day of the sovereign's return to power against the now mighty Blood Gun King. It seemed a momentous event was about to unfold. Another noble felt a tremor of fear. The Blood Gun King had once extended an olive branch to him, which he had declined. Now, he realized that if the sovereign had indeed not merely borrowed a moment of clarity, but had genuinely broken through to the supreme realm. He would be grateful for his past decision. Otherwise, today could very well mark his own demise. Ha ha. After a profound silence, Yin Wushang suddenly erupted into laughter, his gaze turning ever colder. Your Majesty, your words are rather harsh, are they not? I, the Blood Gun King, have shed blood in service of the Empire. My Iron Riders have trampled countless foes, achieving victory after victory. After serving the Empire for 900 years, do you now fear my accomplishments and seek to eliminate me? Gradually rising, Yin Wushang met the gaze of the figure on the throne, his eyes fearless. Even if Li Tsong had indeed ascended to the supreme realm today, with the assistance of the Empire of Burning Flames, Yin Wushang had long since broken through to the supreme realm 7 years ago. No longer merely a half-step supreme in the eyes of the world. Even if he were to face defeat, he could still retreat unscathed. This vast Tianzong Empire was already on the brink of collapse. It could not impede him. With a resounding boom, as Yin Wushang's voice echoed through the hall, an overwhelming aura of murderous intent emanated from him. The air within the hall surged violently, a fierce wind sweeping through, rustling the robes of the ministers. A supreme pressure? To think that after General Zhang Che and Lord Shenlai, the Blood Gun King had also entered the supreme realm and was brazenly plotting treason. Blood Gun King, you dare display such murderous intent before the sovereign? That is a capital offense. Another supreme presence erupted as the Guardian General Zhang Che roared, suppressing Yin Wushang's aura with a force that reverberated like a collision of two titans in the void. The two supremes faced off before the gathered officials, a tense standoff unfolding. At that moment, amidst Li Tsong's sigh, a long sword was cast down from the throne, landing before the Blood Gun King. End your life. For the sake of your decades of loyalty, I do not wish to personally take your life. The frigid words echoed throughout the opulent golden hall. At this moment, Li Tsong stood tall, gazing down upon Yin Wushang from his elevated position. According to Li Shan, this man had maintained close ties with the Empire of Burning Flames for over a century. He had secretly wed the 14th princess of the Flame Emperor, having truly defected from the Empire. Yet even upon discovering this early on, Li Shan had been powerless to confront him. In the face of Li Tsong's impending demise, he could not openly sever ties with this noble. But now, everything had drastically changed. Gazing at his father, who had regained his youthful appearance after breaking through, Li Shan felt an uncontrollable surge of excitement within. In this day and age, the number of individuals who comprehend the true prowess of the Emperor is exceedingly rare. The Blood Spear King naively believes that the Emperor has merely reached the initial stage of the Supreme Realm. Yet he could never fathom that the Celestial Emperor has genuinely ascended beyond the Sacred Realm. Is he an ancient sage? Or perhaps the legendary Sage King? Li Shan remains uncertain. He only knows that his father's cultivation is undoubtedly above that of the saints, and the saintly level is already sufficient to crush all in existence. Chapter 4. The Death of the Blood Spear King and the Annihilation of 10 Clans. Self-inflicted demise. Upon hearing Li Tsong's pronouncement, Yin Wushang's gaze darkened profoundly. Since your majesty is so obstinately unyielding, I, Yin, shall fight to the death. With a hum, he extended his right palm, drawing forth a slender blood-red blade from the void, and with a mere flick, directed it towards the gathered crowd. Ultimately, he pointed it straight at Li Tsong. Today, whoever dares to impede me shall perish. The audacity of the Blood Spear King's actions finally provoked the ire of Li Tsong seated upon the imperial throne. A chilling smile spread across his face, his eyes ablaze with sorrow and fury. He never anticipated that this young man, whom he had painstakingly nurtured, would dare to wield the slaughtering knife meant for his enemies against himself. Do you dare to threaten my life? Boom. It was as if the heavens were collapsing. In an instant, an unimaginable and colossal pressure erupted from Li Tsong, engulfing the entire city of Lentian. In that fleeting moment, the grand hall seemed to freeze in time, as if all motion had come to a standstill. Gulp. The assembly struggled to swallow, feeling as though an avalanche had descended upon them, mercilessly suppressing their very beings, rendering even the act of breathing a Herculean task. How could such pressure exist? At this moment, at the epicenter of this overwhelming force, the Blood Spear King Yin Wushang bore a countenance filled with shock. Under such terrifying pressure, he found himself unable to even twitch a finger or summon a wisp of spiritual energy. The Emperor's might is unparalleled, capable of obliterating the very firmament. The pressure now unleashed is but a fraction, less than 1/10,000th, of Li Tsong's imperial might. Should he unleash his full power in an instant, he could reduce this city of Lentian to naught but a desolate void. Step, step. As the footsteps approached, Li Tsong descended from his throne, gradually making his way towards Yin Wushang, his gaze as frigid as a bottomless abyss, suffused with an inexhaustible aura of malice. Your Majesty. Yin Wushang struggled to lift his head, gazing at the emperor, who loomed above him as if he were a celestial being, his eyes brimming with profound regret. He had made the wrong bet. The emperor remains the sovereign who can quell all with a mere gesture. Though the strong may fade, silence is but a transient state. Yet, the future will inevitably witness their resurgence. In this moment, a wave of remorse washed over him. Choosing to ally with the burning flame empire would undoubtedly be the gravest error of his life. At the brink of death, memories of once standing side by side with this emperor on the battlefield, regarding each other as comrades, flooded his mind. Buzz, however, in an instant. As Li Tsong's will pressed down, Yin Wuxiang's entire being, his body, soul, and the countless particles that composed him, was subjected to an unfathomable and terrifying force. Crushed into nothingness, he vanished as if reduced to ashes in a heartbeat. The Bloodspear King Yin Wuxiang has openly rebelled against the empire today, committing an unforgivable crime. He must be eradicated. After the thought crushed the Bloodspear King, Li Tsong turned. His indifferent proclamation echoed like thunder across the skies of Lintian City, resonating in the hearts of millions with an unmistakable tremor. Moreover, Zhang Che, your servant is here. Execute the 10 clans of Yin Wuxiang. Subject the 14th princess of the Burning Flame Empire to a lingering death, and then hang her head at the border city gates. Thus, with a chilling decree issued, the ministers within the hall erupted in astonishment, collectively gasping as they comprehended Li Tsong's intentions. He was unequivocally declaring an all-out war against the Burning Flame Empire, leaving no room for tolerance. After dismissing the court, Li Tsong uttered 2 words in a detached tone and departed the Lintian hall without a backward glance. Long live our emperor. The ministers hastily reacted, kneeling in reverence as they paid their respects. Once the majestic figure vanished from sight, a collective sigh of relief swept through them. Beads of sweat dotted their brows, their hearts trembling with fear. With a single move, they had scarcely witnessed how the emperor had acted. The Bloodspear King, who had already reached the supreme realm, had been reduced to mere ashes, obliterated without a trace. What extraordinary power is this? Could it be that the emperor has not only transcended the supreme level, but has also reached an even more terrifying realm? Some lords felt their pupils constrict as they gazed at the faint, dark imprint left in the hall, realizing that the emperor's return had rendered him unfathomable. The pinnacle of the supreme realm? Or perhaps a saint? As night fell, within the imperial palace, in the grand chamber of Li Tsong's quarters. Host, Li Tsong. Age, 3701. Identity, Celestial Emperor, Sovereign of the Celestial Empire. Cultivation, Peak of the Great Emperor. Technique, Chaos Scripture, Primordial Level Technique, initially incomplete. Now forcibly perfected due to the host's breakthrough to Great Emperor. Divine Abilities, Martial Arts, 9 Extinction Sword Art, Upper Sacred Grade. Great Path Palm, Lower Sacred Grade. Ancient Heavenly Seal, Upper Heavenly Grade. Next check-in location. Not yet refreshed. Cooldown, 6 days, 11 hours. Opening the so-called Supreme Check-in System's attribute panel. An ethereal light curtain emerged from Li Tsong's consciousness, presenting information clearly. Peak of the Great Emperor. I have transitioned from a dying man to the highest echelon of this world. Everything that transpired today feels as if it were a dream. Li Tsong gazed at the rows of attributes, murmuring to himself. Over 3,000 years ago, when he traversed from Blue Star, struggling merely to secure a morsel of food, did he ever contemplate the existence of such a system? Regrettably, unlike the protagonists of novels, this entity did not manifest within Li Tsong at the outset. After years of hardship, he unexpectedly plummeted into a chasm, acquiring the Chaos Scripture, a terrifying technique capable of transcending the Great Emperor level. This is Li Tsong's greatest secret in this realm. Even his 3 sons remain unaware of a single fragment. It was precisely because he cultivated the incomplete Chaos Scripture that he was able to single-handedly establish this vast empire and subsequently engage in battles beyond his rank, slaying demonic sovereigns with the cultivation of a venerable. Chapter 5. The Complete Chaos Scripture, 66 trillion Great Emperor Powers. Primordial Level Technique. Is this the Complete Chaos Scripture? Following the familiar operational pathway, Li Tsong instantly discerned the extraordinary nature of the Chaos Scripture in its current form. It is astonishing that within him lie an astounding 66 trillion cells, each possessing the terrifying ability to store the entirety of his formidable power. Each individual cell seems to transform into a channel, or realm of its own. By saturating these cells, Li Tsong could once again acquire the might of a peak emperor. The upper limit of this power could reach the unimaginable total of 66 trillion emperor-level strengths. Such horror. It is utterly absurd. A feat so defiant that the very thought of it would leave many powerful beings utterly aghast. A peak emperor represents an unparalleled existence capable of subduing the ages. What manner of monstrous entity could arise from the aggregation of 66 trillion peak emperor powers? Upon understanding the true nature of the chaos scripture, even the current Litsang could not help but exhale sharply. In the Nine Heavens continent, becoming an emperor is the ultimate destination, an impassable frontier. Yet, Litsang can still infinitely strengthen himself beyond the so-called emperor tier. Truly, the system is remarkable. Merely through the first sign-in, it has bestowed upon me such astonishing surprises. I cannot help but wonder what divine treasures await me upon my next sign-in. Litsang was elated. For the existence of the chaos scripture revealed to him that being an emperor is not the ultimate pinnacle. There are always beings beyond beings, heavens beyond heavens. Now, having achieved the status of a peak emperor, he remains ever vigilant, never viewing the world with an arrogant heart. However, with the sign-in system and the chaos scripture by his side, even if the Nine Heavens continent were to undergo tremendous upheaval in the future, Litsang would remain unperturbed. It is rumored that the celestial forces from the stars beyond are exceedingly abundant. If I wish to swiftly enable the 66 trillion channels within me to store emperor power, I must cultivate accordingly. Swish. With this thought, Litsang's figure instantaneously vanished from his palace. Within mere breaths, he had ascended to the upper void of the Nine Heavens continent. Positioned in this realm, he could nearly gaze down upon the magnificent expanse of the continent below. There it is, the star ignited with golden flames. Litsang traversed billions of miles in an instant, channeling his power to seize the distant golden star. He shrank it down to an infinitesimal size. Then, with a resounding roar, his strength erupted, and Litsang transformed into a colossal titan. Like a great whale, he devoured and refined the energy of this star, causing the first of his cellular channels to rapidly accumulate energy, exuding an aura of terrifying imperial might. Crack, crack. As night fell, this star transformed into a darkened relic, becoming a dead star, devoid of any energy release. In Litsang's gaze, it crumbled and shattered, scattering into stardust within the void. This star allowed the energy accumulated in my first channel to reach approximately 30%. According to the complete chaos scripture, the maximum limit for each channel should correspond to my current peak emperor strength. Yet, to swiftly attain an accumulation of 66 trillion emperor powers is a monumental task. Even devouring the entire Nine Heavens continent would be utterly impossible. Shaking his head, Litsang could only temporarily set aside his cultivation from that night. Moving his form back to the Tiansong imperial court, the consumption of this star indeed augmented his strength by about 30%. For Litsang, who had already reached the pinnacle of cultivation in this realm, it was undoubtedly an excellent start. Your Majesty, Lord Shattered God requests an audience. Just as Litsang returned to his palace, a maid outside respectfully announced, "Let him in." Litsang waved his hand with indifference. "Your Majesty, I congratulate you on your breakthrough in the acquisition of millennia of lifespan." Moments later, a robust man clad in a long black robe, with chiseled features, entered the hall and respectfully bowed to Litsang. This shattered god, named Gu Hao, was one of the two supreme powerhouses in the Tiansong imperial court. Having known Litsang since childhood, sharing a brotherly bond. "Ha, Gu Hao, there is no need for such formalities before me. Rise quickly." Litsang smiled. Since his lifespan had dwindled and his physical condition had deteriorated rapidly, he had not seen this old friend for several decades. Naturally, their reunion brought him great joy. Soon, after they were seated, Gu Hao exchanged pleasantries before swiftly broaching the main topic. "Your Majesty, during your absence from governance over the past century, the situation in our Tiansong imperial court has undergone a dramatic upheaval." Gu Hao's gaze sharpened, and with a gesture of his right hand, he isolated the sounds of the palace from the outside world, indicating that what he was about to discuss with Litsang was of great significance. "Oh, what is it? Do you too sense the unrest?" Litsang inquired, raising an eyebrow. Gu Hao, with his extraordinary talents, was a ruthless figure akin to a battlefield tyrant. A century ago, he had already reached the third tier of the supreme realm, surpassing even the national protector, General Zhang Che. Nodding, Gu Hao fell into silence for a moment, lifting a cup of tea from the table, taking a sip, and then slowly speaking. "Your Majesty, do you still remember the Eight Desolate Sect?" The Eight Desolate Sect? Upon hearing this somewhat unfamiliar name, a hint of confusion crossed Litsang's eyes, but it quickly transformed into sharp clarity. "I remember, 700 years ago. After I vanquished the supreme of the demon path, many sects entered the domain of our Tiansong imperial court, and the Eight Desolate Sect was among them." Litsang recalled that this sect had come from beyond the ancient state. It was rumored that they fled their territory after their main sect was annihilated, seeking refuge in the fringes of the Tiansong imperial court to re-establish their sect. As for these external sects, Litsang had not shown excessive disdain, so long as they nominally submitted to the imperial authority and did not engage in any outrageous acts. He could turn a blind eye and allow them to develop. Chapter 6. The Eight Desolate Sect, a chaotic situation. Ungrateful wretches. 700 years ago, these rascals crawled into my imperial court, and due to your majesty's benevolence, they were allowed to survive. Yet, they do not seek to repay this kindness. They dare to manipulate the court from behind the scenes, secretly controlling the thoughts of several lords, using them as puppets to amass vast resources and wealth. As Li Tsong finished speaking, Gu Hao's expression suddenly became animated, recounting the Eight Desolate Sect's deeds over the past century, denouncing them fiercely. This is simply unforgivable. Such audacity! They dare to covet the empire I have painstakingly built? The Eight Desolate Sect truly possesses immense gall. Hearing this, Li Tsong's gaze turned frigid, an aura of coldness enveloping him. Buzz! In an instant, the temperature within the palace plummeted to sub-zero levels. Even the laws of the void seemed to freeze, halting all things in their tracks. He is the emperor. After over 3,000 years, from nothing to something, he painstakingly forged the kingdom beneath his feet. Every inch of land, every mountain, was wrought from countless efforts. Who dares to touch it? Who has the audacity to seize it? Boom! The imperial might erupted in an instant. The majesty was beyond imagination. In that fleeting moment, Gu Hao felt as though he had witnessed a star shatter, its shockwaves obliterating everything across the vast expanse of the universe. What terrifying realm had his majesty transcended to? Gu Hao's heart raced violently, his pupils constricting, as tumultuous waves surged within him. Under such overwhelming pressure, even as a formidable being of the supreme triple heaven, he felt as insignificant as a mere insect, with a single breath capable of crushing him to oblivion. Could it be that his majesty had not merely broken through to the supreme realm? Rather, had he ascended to an unimaginable height, perhaps even surpassing the saint realm and standing at the precipice of the legendary emperor realm? At this thought, even Gu Hao's iron will faltered, and he could not suppress a gasp of cold air. This was absurd. An emperor-level existence was unfathomable within the entire ancient state, let alone a true emperor. Even a quasi-emperor was an unparalleled existence. In his memories, only the four great sacred grounds renowned across the Nine Skies continent housed true emperor-level powers. Your Majesty, what is your current cultivation? Driven by astonishment and insatiable curiosity, Gu Hao hesitated for a moment before tentatively inquiring. As for my true cultivation, you need not concern yourself with the specifics. Simply understand this. From this moment forth, there shall be no force in this world capable of shaking the celestial emperor dynasty. Li Tsong's gaze was profound, his voice calm. Yet, as his words resonated, an overwhelming and magnificent authority swept through the entire hall, enveloping all within 10,000 feet. His tone carried an infinite dominance, gazing down upon the cosmos as if to survey the heavens themselves. In that instant, Gu Hao felt an unprecedented sense of insignificance wash over him, as if he were confronting an ancient god, rendered utterly prostrate in worship. Congratulations, Your Majesty. May you reign for eternity, safeguarding our dynasty forever. He trembled with excitement, bowing deeply once more to Li Tsong, his expression fervent. From now on, no one shall challenge the dynasty. Such audacious and tyrannical declarations seemed entirely natural when uttered by Li Tsong. In a daze, Gu Hao envisioned countless beings prostrating at the feet of the celestial emperor, offering their reverence. This sight stirred his emotions profoundly, filling his eyes with tears, as he finally comprehended the magnitude of the being he followed. The Eight Desolation Sect shall be dealt with by you, Li Tsong stated, nodding slightly before presenting a long sword that shimmered with a faint golden hue to Gu Hao. What is this? Gu Hao accepted the sword, a flicker of confusion crossing his face. This sword contains a fragment of my current power. Regardless of how many supremes the Eight Desolation Sect possesses, or even if saints lurk in the shadows, they are insignificant. Anyone who dares to encroach upon my dynasty shall meet their demise. I command you to use this sword to bathe the Eight Desolation Sect in blood. Li Tsong's expression grew cold as he issued the command. Even a mere fragment of the absolute power of an emperor was enough to effortlessly annihilate an entire dynasty, turning vast lands into scorched earth. Clearly, Li Tsong was driven by genuine wrath at this moment, intent on obliterating the Eight Desolation Sect to serve as a warning to others, and to deter those who covet the dynasty's territory. Understood. Gu Hao's eyes blazed with fervor as he felt the terrifying power contained within the sword. He understood all too well that the emperor's words were not mere fabrications. This sword indeed possessed the capability to easily extinguish the Eight Desolation Sect and wipe out its entire lineage, even with the four supremes stationed within. It would be utterly futile. Within a day, Your Majesty shall receive news of the Eight Desolation Sect's demise, Gu Hao vowed, gripping the sword tightly. Very well. You may withdraw. Li Tsong nodded slightly. Your servant obeys. Gu Hao bowed respectfully before departing the hall, leaving Li Tsong standing alone, his expression growing increasingly frigid. I have merely secluded myself for a century, and now I find a fragmented realm, neighboring powers lurking, and my dynasty beset by sects attempting to seize control from within. Suddenly, a piece of extraordinarily hard meteorite materialized in his hand. Its solidity was such that even a pinnacle supreme would struggle to shatter it. Yet, in Li Tsong's grasp, it crumbled to dust with a mere squeeze. It seemed a thorough cleansing was in order. With a detached smirk, Li Tsong stepped out of his chamber, gazing up at the heavens. My sky shall not tolerate any insolence. Chapter 7. Gu Hao arrives, the order to annihilate the sect. In the Celestial Emperor Dynasty, Longshan County lay at the southern frontier, encompassing over 100 cities. While it may not rival the bustling central counties, it was nonetheless a significant second-tier county within the dynasty. Numerous forces thrived there, with countless disputes erupting daily. Yet, in the face of the colossal Eight Desolation sect, all powers were compelled to bow their heads. Even the ruler of Longshan County, the Duke of Longshan, who possessed peak supreme cultivation, had been reduced to a mere puppet in the shadows of the sect. At this moment, within the headquarters of the Eight Desolation sect, in the Grand Hall of the sect, report to the sect master. News has arrived from Lintian City that the Celestial Emperor has seemingly broken through to the Supreme Realm, regaining thousands of years of lifespan. Within the grand and ancient hall, a black-clad elder knelt on the ground, respectfully reporting, his voice tinged with surprise and trepidation. The Celestial Emperor, Li Tsong. This individual, hundreds of years ago, possessed only peak supreme cultivation, yet was able to slay a demonic cultivator of the fourth supreme level. It was precisely because of his presence that the Eight Desolation sect remained dormant for centuries, only revealing its fangs after Li Tsong's century-long seclusion and negligence of state affairs. What? The Celestial Emperor has broken through? The elder's voice fell, and the hall erupted into chaos. Nearly every face turned slightly pale, their eyes flashing with cold malice. The Celestial Emperor's breakthrough to the Supreme Realm and his return to power implied dire consequences they could not ignore. They were acutely aware that the actions of the Eight Desolation sect over the years would soon reach the Emperor's ears, prompting him to act against them. And now, although the Eight Desolation sect boasted the protection of four supreme powers, none could guarantee victory against the infamous Celestial Emperor, whose name had echoed for 1,000 years. Silence. At that moment, a cold, indifferent voice resonated from the highest seat of the sect master. The crowd raised their heads slightly, their gazes coalescing upon the Eight Desolation sect master. He was a young man clad in a light gray robe, with a somewhat androgynous appearance. His eyes were narrow and cold, his aura deep and foreboding as a prison. In the blink of an eye, the entire grand hall seemed to be enveloped by an overwhelming aura of malevolence. There is no need for alarm. Even though Li Tsong has successfully broken through, I possess absolute confidence in my ability to eliminate him. He is merely a fortunate old dog who has managed to break through by chance, incapable of stirring any significant turbulence. A hint of mockery curled upon the lips of the Lord of the Eight Desolations as he spoke lightly. Over the course of 7 centuries since the establishment of the Tiansong Empire, it seemed as though the Eight Desolation sect had been blessed by some grand fortune. Not only had they discovered numerous exceptionally gifted disciples, but the high-ranking members within the sect also encountered continuous opportunities, evolving from a solitary half-step supreme being to now boasting 4 supreme beings presiding over the sect. The Lord of the Eight Desolations himself had also ascended to the 4th level of the Supreme Realm. Moreover, he secretly controlled a godly puppet, which served as the sect's most formidable trump card, capable of battling at the pinnacle of the Supreme Realm. It was precisely for this reason that the Lord of the Eight Desolations held such confidence, unafraid of the Tiansong Emperor in the slightest. Whoosh! Those of the Eight Desolation sect, come forth to meet your demise. However, before the numerous elders within the hall could respond, the sound of rending air reverberated from above, followed by a thunderous roar filled with boundless killing intent, erupting suddenly. Boom! It was akin to the roar of 1,000 thunderclaps. In an instant, not only the Eight Desolation sect, but even much of Longshan County could hear this voice. What transpired? Someone is attacking the Eight Desolation sect. Many powerful figures rushed forth, gazing toward the source of the rolling thunderous sound from thousands of miles away. As they sensed the gathering of such overwhelming energy, their expressions grew increasingly grave. Today, it seemed, a cataclysmic event was imminent. Bold, audacious. After a brief silence, the Eight Desolation sect erupted in a chorus of furious shouts. Nearly 1,000 figures soared into the air, hovering in place, gazing into the distant void. There, they beheld dozens of dark silhouettes standing tall, exuding an incomprehensible and terrifying pressure. At the forefront was none other than the Supreme Prince, God-split King Gu Hao, who had come at the behest of Li Tsong to obliterate the Eight Desolation sect. God-split King, We of the Eight Desolations sect bear you no grudge. What, pray tell, is your purpose in coming here today? Upon recognizing the identity of the visitor, an elder clad in crimson robes, with a countenance sharp as a blade and an imposing presence, stepped forward, coldly inquiring. This was the Grand Elder of the Eight Desolations sect, Jiangyu. His cultivation reached the pinnacle of the second level of the Supreme Realm, merely a step away from the third level. What purpose? Godsplit King Gu Hao chuckled icily. He then pointed his sword toward the Eight Desolations sect, proclaiming, I, Gu Hao, the Godsplit King, come today under the decree of His Majesty the Tian Emperor, to wash the Eight Desolations sect in blood, leaving not a single creature alive. Upon hearing these words, an uproar erupted throughout the Eight Desolations sect. Countless disciples and officials wearing expressions of utter horror. The Tian Emperor? He actually intends to annihilate the Eight Desolations sect. It was rumored that the emperor had been in seclusion for 100 years. Why then did he suddenly issue an order to exterminate the Eight Desolations sect today? Most of the powerful figures of the Eight Desolations sect, still unaware of Li Zong's return to power, were stunned and shaken. Meanwhile, the true high-ranking members of the Eight Desolations sect were filled with righteous fury. What audacity! Godsplit King, you are merely a third-level supreme. How dare you speak of exterminating my Eight Desolations sect? Humph! That Tian Emperor is truly arrogant, thinking that by regaining control of the court, he can sweep away all opposition. Go back and tell him that the current Tian Empire is no longer a realm he can dominate. Angry roars echoed from all directions, causing Gu Hao's expression to darken. He was a dignified prince of the imperial court, now representing the Tian Emperor. At this moment, he was being mocked and openly insulted by these rebellious traitors. These traitors must be eradicated. Have you finished with your last words? With a firm grip on the long sword entrusted to him by Li Zong, Gu Hao coldly surveyed the entirety of the Eight Desolations sect, his eyes filled with murderous intent. Godsplit King, the forces you have brought today are still far from sufficient to annihilate my Eight Desolations sect. Our sect's grand formation could withstand even the full might of high-level supreme beings. What can you, a mere third-level supreme, do against us? The Lord of the Eight Desolations scoffed, raising his hand to envelop the entire sect in an invisible barrier. The Four Symbols Heavenly Array. This formation was acquired by the previous sect master from the tomb of a local sage, rumored to be capable of easily resisting even ordinary sages when fully activated. In his view, regardless of how Gu Hao sought to attack today, it would be utterly futile. Chapter 8. A Sword to Obliterate. Is that so? Upon hearing this, Gu Hao shook his head, a mocking smile gracing his lips. These foolish frogs at the bottom of the well will likely never comprehend the heights the current emperor has achieved. Buzz. In the next moment, he slowly lifted the long sword shimmering with a faint golden divine light. Using a wisp of his own spiritual energy, he connected with the vast power contained within. And in an instant, boom. Within a radius of hundreds of thousands of miles, all spiritual energy erupted violently. Even the forces of the laws of heaven and earth seemed to be plundered, all converging upon that sword. The storm howled, and the clouds shifted ominously. When the imperial power contained within the long sword finally manifested, even the heavens seemed to dim in comparison. In a daze, the onlookers vaguely perceived a towering divine figure standing majestically above the heavens, surrounded by stars, as the cosmos itself seemed to flip upside down, with boundless chaos swirling forth. Then, that divine figure wielded the sword and struck down upon the very location of the Eight Desolations sect. Boom! In a moment of confusion, it seemed as though the entire sky was cleaved in two by this strike. The world was stripped of all color, save for an enormous, resplendent divine sword descending, radiating brilliant golden light, illuminating the Eight Desolation and the entirety of the void. Once the sword was unleashed, it was as if the heavens were collapsing and the earth were shattering. Boom! The terrifying shockwave, carrying an aura of annihilation, swept through the land where it passed. Space crumbled, and the heavens and earth distorted, obliterating all existence. A beam of sword light, seemingly capable of destroying the world, struck directly upon the protective formation of the sect. Crack! The sound of shattering echoed instantly. Not even a fraction of a moment could it withstand. That so-called Four Symbols Heavenly Array was obliterated in an instant, as the world-ending golden sword light fell without pause. There was scarcely time for the Lord of the Eight Desolations to utter a final word, for in mere moments, everything, the sect structures, the disciples, the elders, even the earth, the sky, and space, under that golden sword light, was all rendered to nothingness, leaving not a trace behind. The resounding explosion reverberated for thousands of miles. Not only in Longshan County, but even in neighboring regions, people heard it. their gazes filled with terror as they looked toward the direction of the Eight Desolation sect. This aura was far too horrifying. Even supreme beings were rendered as insignificant as ants before it. What kind of existence has the Eight Desolation sect provoked to draw such a terrifying force to obliterate them? Countless leaders of various factions were filled with dread. And even from afar, they could distinctly sense the terrifying aura carried within that shockwave, far surpassing the realm of the supreme. Boom. The endless tumult has finally begun to wane, as the myriad powerful figures of Longshan County gazed anew into the distance. They were all rendered pale and drenched in cold sweat, their souls seemingly escaping them in fright. At the horizon, the once magnificent Ba Huang sect had vanished without a trace, replaced instead by a terrifying sword scar that stretched for tens of thousands of miles, resembling an abyss. The very landscape of Longshan County had undergone a dramatic transformation. The earth was cracked, the heavens shattered, and chaos reigned. This was the manifestation of His Majesty's current power. For those who defy the imperial court, their fate is bound to be as dire as that of the sect. Sensing the countless gazes from afar, Gu Hao turned to the distant crowd and coldly warned them. With a single stride, he ascended into the sky, disappearing into the vast expanse of the heavens in the blink of an eye. The aura of the imperial realm? How intriguing. It is surprising to find someone in this remote nation who has touched upon the threshold of such power. Shortly after Gu Hao's departure, a ripple suddenly surged through a void in Longshan County. Following this, an elderly man clad in a gray robe, his white hair cascading to his shoulders, gaunt and with sunken eyes, stepped forward slowly. In his gaze flickered a dark, eerie soul fire, ominous and strange. It seems the old man is determined to confront that emperor of Tiansong. 3 days later, news of the total annihilation of the Ba Huang sect swiftly spread throughout the Tiansong Empire. Simultaneously, the Bloodspear King was slain along with 10 clans. And his wife, the 14th princess of the Burning Flame Empire, succumbed to her fate after 3 days of excruciating torture, her head displayed atop the city walls. Li Tsong's ascension to power and his resumption of governance was already known to countless subjects, the majority expressing joy and exuberance. Yet a minority, upon learning of the fate that befell the Bloodspear King and the Ba Huang sect, were engulfed in profound fear, unable to find peace in their hearts. In the imperial palace of Lingtian City, Li Tsong observed his son, Li Shun, who was practicing the 9 extinction sword technique, and slightly shook his head. My son, your mastery of the 9 extinction sword technique is still far from complete. I can discern too many flaws with merely a glance. You possess extraordinary talent. You reached the 2nd level of the venerable realm a century ago, yet now, after all this time, your progress is painfully slow, and your sword technique is practically stagnant. Father, I am indeed foolish, Li Shun replied, lowering his head in silence for a long while before finally speaking with a bitter tone. I can feel that you have developed a kind of heart demon. Due to someone or something, your heart's resolve has been compromised, hence your cultivation stagnates. Upon seeing Li Shun's demeanor, Li Tsong instantly understood the reason, his gaze turning icy as he pressed. Tell me, what exactly transpired? Yes, Li Shun's heart trembled. And he quickly complied. He recounted how, decades ago, numerous prodigies from the true martial sacred land had visited. It turned out that during the 7th year after Li Tsong declared his seclusion, 10 prodigious figures from the true martial sacred land passed through this area. Aware of Li Shun's identity, they came to pay their respects. However, during their visit, several of these prodigies displayed extreme mockery and disdain upon mentioning Li Tsong's name. Furious, Li Shun fought fiercely for his father's honor, ultimately tearing all cordiality with the sacred land's prodigies. Yet he was utterly defeated, meeting with even greater humiliation and derision. After this battle, Li Shun lost all desire to cultivate, pouring himself into state affairs in hopes that the complexities of governance would numb his memory of that disgrace. Chapter 9. The Turmoil of the True Martial Sacred Land and the Burning Flame Empire. Bang! Li Tsong listened quietly to all that was said, then suddenly slammed his palm onto the table. Instantly, a terrifying pressure erupted from within him, sweeping through the heavens and earth, causing the very space to solidify as if it were tangible. The true martial sacred land. His voice was cold and piercing, saturated with profound hatred. As a father, how could he stand idly by while his son suffered such humiliation? Shunner, why did you not awaken me at that time? Had I known of this matter, even at the cost of my life, I would have eradicated those sacred land scoundrels. Li Tsong spoke with intense fury. The true martial sacred land, one of the 4 great sacred lands of the Jiuxiao continent, was rumored to be presided over by an emperor. In the past, the Tiansong Empire was but a mere ant before such a colossus. Yet now, everything had changed drastically. After 3 days of devouring stars and absorbing power, Li Tsong had significantly enhanced his capabilities, now possessing the strength of 4 times a peak emperor. The annihilation of the true martial sacred land would likely pose no challenge. Father, Li Shun replied with difficulty in the face of Li Tsong's fierce inquiry. The true martial sacred land is immensely powerful. Knowing his father's temperament, he was reluctant for their family to provoke such a behemoth. He felt the burden of humiliation should rest solely upon his shoulders. Come. At that moment, Li Tsong firmly grasped Li Shun's shoulder, causing his son to falter, a flicker of terror flashing in his eyes. Father, what do you intend to do? Let the true martial sacred land give me an explanation. If they fail to provide a satisfactory answer today, then simply for the crime of humiliating my offspring, I shall cleanse their lineage with blood. Li Tsong's gaze was chillingly fierce, his tone laced with a murderous intent that made Li Shun's heart race. No, I cannot allow father to be dragged into this. Though you have made significant breakthroughs, the true martial sacred land is one of the 4 great sacred lands, with profound depths, far beyond what the Tian-Song Empire can provoke. As thoughts spun in his mind, Li Shun opened his mouth to speak, but at that moment, a guard abruptly entered, kneeling and reporting with urgency, Your Majesty, urgent news from the border. Upon seeing the 14th princess's head, the Burning Flame Emperor is now utterly enraged, ordering millions of troops to launch a full-scale assault on our Tian-Song Empire. Li Tsong raised an eyebrow, momentarily setting aside his fury towards the true martial sacred land, pondering for a moment before inquiring, what is the current situation? The guard replied with a serious demeanor. The Burning Flame Empire, enraged, has initiated a full-scale assault. General Zhang Che and the 5 great lords are valiantly resisting, but the enemy's numbers far exceed ours. And the Burning Flame Empire has already dispatched 6 supreme powerhouses to the battlefield, leading to a situation of imminent collapse for our forces. Furthermore, among the 5 great clans of the empire, the supreme ancestors of the Chu, Lu, and Yun families are hurrying to the battlefield, while the Lin and Shao families have yet to make any significant response. 6 supreme powerhouses? It seems the Burning Flame Empire has committed all its forces, intent on annihilating our Tian-Song Empire. Moreover, the esteemed clans of Chu, Lu, and Yun remain steadfast in their loyalty to the imperial family. As for the Lin and Shao clans, once the great conflict concludes, I shall thoroughly investigate their peculiar movements over the years. Li Tsong's gaze flickered subtly, his indifferent words laced with an undertone of frost. Within the Tian-Song Empire, myriad forces vie for dominance. The most formidable is undoubtedly the imperial authority he embodies, beneath which lie the 5 great clans that dub themselves vassals of the imperial lineage. Each clan is steeped in profound heritage and remarkable strength, each presiding over a venerable ancestor of supreme rank, formidable lineages that Li Tsong had once subdued through sheer might in his youth. Presently, among these 5 great clans, 3 still ardently defend the imperial family. However, the remaining 2 father, Li Shun hesitated, fully aware of his father's temperament after years spent by his side. Once the Burning Flame Empire is vanquished, I shall undoubtedly take you to the sacred land of Zhenwu. No one, not even the celestial deities, shall dare to insult my son, Li Tsong. With a cold huff, a palpable aura of murderous intent erupted from Li Tsong's eyes. Father Li Shun felt a tremor within. His eyes slightly reddened. The sensation of being shielded by his father was truly comforting. Come, follow me to the battlefield at the border and witness the demise of the Burning Flame Empire. With a casual wave of his hand, the air before them was violently torn asunder, creating a direct passage to the battlefield miles away, allowing them to step forth into the distance with a single stride. Li Tsong stepped forward first, followed swiftly by Li Shun, who quickly reacted and vanished alongside his father. Kill! Boom! The cries of battle and the thunderous roars continuously echoed across the battlefield. From the heavens above, the soldiers on the ground resembled swarming ants, engaged in a frenzied melee. The Burning Flame Empire, in its initial wave of assault, had unleashed a staggering force of 10 billion, each soldier possessing formidable prowess, with a Nirvana realm powerhouse leading every 10,000, orchestrating their subordinates into formation for slaughter. Buzz! Li Tsong and Li Shun materialized in the void above the battlefield. As soon as they set foot in this realm, the acrid stench of smoke and blood assaulted their senses, causing Li Shun's eyes to involuntarily narrow. The battlefield beneath them was utterly brutal. Though forewarned, the frenzied offensive of the Burning Flame Empire had still caught the Tian-Song Empire off guard, resulting in significant losses among the border guards. Your Majesty, His Highness the Crown Prince, Zhang Che and the 2 esteemed lords behind him swiftly soared upwards, bowing respectfully to the emperor who had personally graced the battlefield, their gazes shifting to a distant point, their expressions shifting in alarm. Swish! From afar, the sound of slicing air grew closer, culminating in 6 figures clad in crimson and white robes, each adorned with the emblem of a blazing red flame. Tian-Song Emperor. It has been quite some time. I thought you had long perished. but it appears you still cling to life. Chapter 10. A single palm to annihilate 6 supremes. Advancing towards the capital of the Burning Flame Empire. The foremost figure, with flowing crimson hair and eyes as fiery as his countenance, was none other than the second high priest of the Burning Flame Empire, the Crimson Flame Supreme. Beside him stood 5 other formidable beings of supreme caliber, all esteemed high priests of the Burning Flame Empire, boasting unparalleled